Hello friends, this is Tony Design, Space Rock of the planet Earth, back with another video today. Yesterday I started to shift my channel into another direction, and it was called 90 Days Till November 5th. And that was just the introduction of what's coming, because like I told you, I'm going to be going through the issues of both candidates that are running for president of the United States. And like I said, I don't want you to think that I'm affiliated. I'm a musician, not a politician. I'm a musician. Of course, whoever saw a politician that doesn't have money. So that just tells you everything. I'm a musician, not a politician. Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna go over some things because I want you to make a rational decision. A rational decision. Decision 2024. It's gonna be a long ride, but in anything that you do, you have to start with the basics, and that's what I'm going to give you today. I'm going to give you the basics right now, at least part of the basics, and I'm going to go over them the best that I can so that you have an idea on what we're dealing with here. Okay? So, I'm not saying you probably know this. You probably know this by heart. You know, so if you know this, forgive me. I'm doing this for people that either forgot it or just didn't pay attention to it. And so we do have two parties. We have the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. In the Democratic Party, we have, of course, the vice president. Right now, she's not a nominee, but she's going to be nominated. She already has all the votes to be nominated. And she also selected a vice presidential candidate, Mr. Tim Walz of Minnesota, governor of Minnesota. And I'll get back to that in a minute because there was some controversy about the guy putting himself out as a middle class citizen, and I haven't seen any middle class citizen that makes $19 million or has a net worth of $19 million and also has an annual salary or estimated income of $2.5 million a year. Okay, so that doesn't sound to me as a middleman, as a middle class man. And I'm just not gonna give you this. Tim Walz has a net worth of $19 million as of 2024 and an estimated $2.5 million income annually. It didn't come from the horse's mouth. It came from sources right here that, of course, you can't hide anything under the sun anymore. We're living in a public, non-private world. So, let's go back to the teachings. What's the difference between a Democrat or the Democrat Party and the Republicans or the Republican Party? There's a few differences. And of course, the more to the right that you take it, the more extreme it goes, The more to the left that you take it, the more extreme it goes. So sometimes they say you're a moderate. That means you're right in the middle. You could be like a moderate Republican or a moderate Democrat. That's like you're in between. But usually what's been going on is that either you are far to the right or far to the left. That's what's been happening today on today's day. And of course, I'm going to give you not the pros and cons, but the actual facts. Okay, if you're a liberal, if you're a Democrat, you're usually what is called a liberal. And what is a liberal? A liberal individual, a liberal person. Well, usually what happens is you want larger government, and you want a large government role in economic issues. You want a larger government role in economic issues. So let's bounce to the Republican side. If you're a Republican, you're usually what is called a conservative person. Okay? And what do they mean by that? They mean that in comparison, you want a smaller government, less involved in the economy or less involved in the economic issues. And some joke, less involved in your pocket. So you want the government to be out of your pocket. That's the Republicans. The Republicans don't want you to know, don't want the government to know what they got. And the liberals want larger government in economic issues. That's the Democrats. Now, let's see another bullet. I got bullets right here. See, I got my notes. I got bullets. So, if you're a Democrat, liberal, you back regulations and social welfare programs. Back regulations means you like the government to impose regulations on the individual and also have social welfare programs, handouts. If you're a Republican, you want to reflect your views, and usually the way you want to reflect your views is by your position on taxes. So progressive tax, finance government expansion, Democrats. Progressive tax, finance government expansion, that's the Democrats. And for the Republicans is the size of government reflects your position on taxes. Usually the Republicans want lower the tax for everybody. Even though they say that the Republicans, the majority of millionaires and billionaires don't pay any taxes, but that's really not true. They actually pay the majority of the taxes. Thus, because they have deductions and most of the billionaires anyways end up giving the money away. So if you're a Democrat, you want progressive tax, which means increases in taxes, more less money for you in your pocket. You like to have finance government expansion, which that means that give the government give the money to the government because they know what they're doing. Think about that one for a minute. And of course, if you're a Republican, you want to lower the taxes for everybody, including the wealthy, including the middle class, and usually the poor 19,000, 21,000 line of poverty don't pay any taxes, but you don't want to be in that position. The Republicans want you to get out of that. Actually, they want you to get out of that. They don't want you to live, with handouts and a lower salary. They want you to make something of yourself. The government should not be the one taking care of you. That's how the Republicans think. The Democrats think that the government could take care of you if you need it. And then you can go on and try to do whatever you want. But mostly for the last 50 years, the Democrats have been giving a lot of the population, especially minorities, welfare programs. And these welfare programs have messed up, have undenied so many people. There's been people on welfare for over 40 years. I can't even imagine being on welfare for 6 months, let alone 40 years. But there's been people on the welfare for 40 years. That's just the way they think. Now, if you start with social issues, now we're getting into the social issues now. A Democrat wants greater freedom for the individual. And a Republican usually goes with traditional values. More of, like, say, the way your grandpa thinks, the way your grandma used to think. Republicans think that take a more traditional role as far as values is concerned, or more old-fashioned, you would say. But it doesn't mean old-fashioned. It means things that have been proven time and time again to work. And of course, you find it as old because if they work 100 years ago, they probably work today as well. So that's the way Republicans think as far as social issues. They're more conservative, they're more family oriented, they're more like traditional values. Family, God, family, job, in that order. Now, if you're talking about the Democrats and the liberals, they want greater freedom for the individual. So they're not talking about family here. They're talking about greater freedom for you. More like a selfish type of deal where they want you to have individual rights. Okay, there you go, individual rights. And of course, you got all these people all these different segments of the population working for individual rights. And so typically, and I would say geographically, of course, Democrats are usually cramped up in the large cities of the United States. Large cities of the United States. Okay? And Republicans are more in the rural areas of the United States. Okay? So that's the way the country is divided. But in a future reference, I'm going to tell you about something called gerrymandering. Gerrymandering. That's a big word. That might be like your homework right now. Look up gerrymandering. Sectionalizing areas in these big cities by economic status. So, Democrats want individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and big government. And it leans to socialism. Don't get me wrong. The Democrat Party is not the Socialist Party. I'm not saying that. It leans to socialism. And the more you go to the left, the Democrat Party leans to socialism. Not mention any names, but you know who they are. Socialism. The Republican Party, on the other hand, favors free enterprise, private ownership, social traditional ideas. In a word that a lot of people don't like, but have to face it, capitalism. Capitalism. And now the question becomes, is this country ever going to be socialist? Is that the idea that was put forth with the founding fathers? Did the founding fathers founded this country for it to be a socialist country? Think about that one for a minute. Is the United States ever going to be a socialist country? A socialist nation? The United States supports capitalism, favors free enterprise, private ownership, and social traditional values. That's what the fathers founded this country on, as a republic. And with that, I'm going to let you chew on that for a minute. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, you can actually put it on there. And if I see the comments, if I see the questions, I will try to answer for you. I do have to say that I have to take care of some health issues right now, and I might be here off and on, but when I'm on, I will be giving you the foundations to make a smart decision, because that's what you want to make, a smart decision come November 5th. Because like I said in my prior video, this might be the greatest decision that we ever make in our lifetime. And it's that serious. You might not think it's that serious, but it's that serious. So I gave it to you as a recap. Democrats are liberals. Republicans are conservative. Democrats want large government role in economic issues. Republicans want smaller government, less involved in the economy, less involved in your pocket. Democrats back regulations and social welfare programs, means they support the regulations. Republicans do this by reflecting their views on lowering their positions on taxes, by lowering the tax for all, for everybody across the board. Democrats have a progressive tax system, which means they keep adding to the tax that they collect. I'm talking federal government now. And they also like to finance with that collection government expansion. Now, one thing that I overlooked is that Republicans want to use this money, your hard-earned tax dollars, to have a large budget for our military. So the Republicans are really, really concerned when it comes to security of us, security and freedom of our nation. So they do support you paying tax, but they're going to collect that tax and they're going to buy a bomb. Basically, that's what it is. Or they're going to build a plane. Okay? Or they're going to blow up something. Well, yeah. Now, typically Democrats are in the large cities and Republicans are in rural areas. Democrats favor individual rights, civil rights, democracy, and big government. And they tend to lean towards socialism. And Republicans favor free enterprise, private ownership, and more social traditional ideas. And of course, a capitalist system. So with that, I want to say hi to everybody. I want to say hi to all the people around the world that follow my music and follow my videos. I know who you are, and I really appreciate it. If you don't see me here in the next few days, it's like I told you, like everybody else, I'm human. Even though I'm the space rocker of the planet Earth, that doesn't mean anything. I'm still human, as far as I know. And I have to go through some health issues and some things that I have to take care of. So, I'll see you on my next video. This is Tony Desan, space rocker of the planet Earth, still living in this beautiful planet called Earth. Today, giving you the foundation of what is a Democrat, what is a Republican, what is a liberal, what is a conservative, just for you to make a wise decision come November 5th. Like I said, no affiliation. It's for your own good. And if you already know this, my hats off go to you. But if you don't, or you just forgot about it, there you have it. I'll see you on my next video.